Good afternoon. Welcome to the live streaming portion of the business meeting of your annual meeting. My name is Trey Hunter with Palmetto Electric, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce our President and CEO, Burl Davis.
Thank you very much, Trey. Good afternoon, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, and fellow members, at 5 p.m. today, I'd like to call Palmetto Electric Cooperative's 2021 annual meeting to order. On behalf of your board of directors, staff, and employees, we would like to welcome you to the 2021 annual meeting. Due to the challenges that COVID-19 pandemic has presented to all of us over the past year, we are unable to hold our annual business meeting in person this year. Just like at our 2020 annual meeting, we have held drive-through registration and board of director elections with our business meeting being streamed live on the internet. Therefore, your virtual attendance at today's meeting is very much appreciated. Now, I'd like to invite Reverend Edward B. Alston, pastor of the Queen Chapel African Methodist Episcopal Church on Hilton Head Island, to give our invocation.
Let us pray. Almighty God, first let me say thank you on behalf of all who are gathered here and those virtually on this afternoon. Thank you for your many and abundant blessings. Thank you for life itself, for the measure of health. We need to fulfill our callings, for sustenance and for friendship. Thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work and for the honor of bearing appropriate responsibilities. Thanks as well for the freedom to embrace you or the freedom to reject you. Thank you for loving us even so, from your boundless and gracious nature. Thank you for the service and commitment of Palmetto Electric Cooperative. I pray for the board of directors, all employees, and in particular for this annual meeting. I'm asking that you would graciously grant the board of directors wisdom to administer amid the conflicting interests and issues of our times, a sense of the welfare and true needs of all customers, a keen thirst for fairness and righteousness, confidence in what is good and fitting, the ability to work together in harmony even when there is honest disagreement, personal peace in their lives, and joy in their task. I pray for the agenda set before them today and success for the year. Please give an assurance of what would please you and what would benefit all those who live, work, and receive services provided by the co-op. It is in your most blessed name I pray. Amen.
Thank you very much, Reverend Alston. Fellow members, I'd like to introduce your board of directors. First, from Beaufort County, Ms. Carolyn Grant. Second, Mr. Bill Nemmer. Third director, Mr. Jimmy Rowe. The fourth director from Beaufort County, Mr. Alex Ulmer, who is vice chairman of the board. Now I'll introduce directors from Hampton County. First is Greg Cook, Mr. Nick Gohagen, and Mr. Terrell Smith. Finally, the directors from Jasper County are Dr. Earl Bostic, Ms. Eunice Spilliards, who is secretary of the board, and Mr. Jerry Vinay, who is chairman of the board. Join me in thanking them for their leadership and service. Now it is with great sadness that I inform you that Beaufort County Director Mr. David Solero passed away earlier this week. Mr. Solero was such a good board member and was dedicated to serving the members of Palmetto Electric. He was a good person and will be sorely missed by all the Palmetto family and those that knew him. Please keep his family in your thoughts and prayers. Also, I do want to take this opportunity to recognize former Beaufort County Director and Hilton Head native, Mr. Henry Dreesen. Mr. Dreesen resigned from Palmetto's board in January. Mr. Dreesen served on Palmetto's board for more than 29 years. His contributions to the cooperative and humble spirit will be sorely missed. The board staff and employees want to personally thank Mr. Dreesen and Mr. Solero for their dedication and service to the cooperative. Before I invite Ms. Spilliards to come forward and present the Secretary's report, I'd like to explain how the online voting procedures will work today. We have 2 items to vote on. The first is Ms. Spilliards will need approval of the 2020 annual meeting minutes, and the second item is meeting adjournment. We ask all members who are viewing this meeting on Facebook Live to actively participate in the voting procedures. We want and need your participation as this is your meeting. When a motion is requested, please comment by typing your name and state "I move" or "second." Please do not worry about someone else doing it before you. When you are asked to vote on the motion that has been seconded, please comment by typing your name and state "yes" if you are in favor of the motion, or state "no" if you are not in favor of the motion. Now I'll ask Ms. Spilliards to come forward to present the Secretary's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure this evening to present the Secretary-Treasurer's report for Palmetto Electric for the year 2020. My first responsibility tonight is to report on whether or not we have a quorum as required by our bylaws and the laws of South Carolina. Allow me to state the requirements for this meeting. We have 62,180 members on our rolls, and we must have 5% or 3,109 of that number registered. It has been reported to me that 5,067 are presently registered, and I now declare a quorum. I have in hand a copy of the 2020 annual report containing the official notice of the annual meeting, which your bylaws require to be mailed to those members of record not less than 10 days or more than 30 days before the date of this meeting. I also have a copy of the U.S. Postal Service statement of mailing, which certified that we did mail the report on April the 1st, 2021. The bylaws also require that I mail at least 7 days prior to this meeting a statement of the number of directors to be and addresses of the candidates. I also have a copy of the U.S. Postal Service statement of mailing, which certified that we did mail the statement on April the 12th, 2021. It is also my duty to present last year's annual meeting minutes to you for approval. We can either read all 29 pages, or if you are agreeable, I'll entertain a motion to dispense with the reading and that they may be accepted as written. I will now entertain that motion by asking you to type your name and comment, "I move" or "I second." We now have a motion and a second to approve the minutes as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor comment yes, all opposed comment no. Our auditor, Terry McMichael, Certified Public Accountant with McNair, McNamara, Meadowbrooks and Company, has completed the audit for the year 2020. I would like to read the accountant's report from the audit. We have audited the accompanying financial statements of Palmetto Electric Cooperative, which comprise the balance sheets as of December 31, 2020 and 2019, related statements of operation, changes in members' equity, and cash flows for the years then ended, and the related notes to the financial statements. We believe that the audit evidence we have obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our audit opinion. In our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects the financial position of Palmetto Electric Cooperative as of December 31, 2020 and 2019, the results of its operation and cash flows for the years then ended in accordance with accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America. Mr. President, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Spilliards. I'll now ask Mr. Jerry Vinay, Chairman of the Board, to come forward and present his report.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the Board of Directors and all of us at Palmetto Electric Cooperative, I would like to welcome you to our 2021 annual meeting. We are pleased you took the time to join us for this event. 2020 was a trying year for all of us in many ways. Despite the challenges of a pandemic, job losses, and devastation from an EF4 tornado in our service area, we were able to share time and resources and give support to our members and community who needed the extra help. Our 2020 annual report theme is dedication to our members and our community during a year of adversity. We were dedicated to being flexible, we were dedicated to helping the community, and we were dedicated to giving resources and time to help wherever and whenever it was needed this past year. First, we made a positive impact by being flexible in our established programs and policies. We restructured the annual meeting and changed it to a drive-through event so you, our members, could participate in a safe, COVID-friendly way. Palmetto Electric employees staffed the drive-through for 3 days, getting members registered and accepting quotes. Then we successfully live streamed the business meeting portion, the first time in our history we had done this. While I miss visiting with each of you one-on-one, the show must go on, and it did, thanks to the dedication of our employees and your flexibility. We also found we needed to be flexible in the distribution of retired capital credits. With the community struggling in the wake of COVID-19, we returned $3.5 million in capital credits early by the end of April. Normally, we return any retired capital credits in May for members attending the annual meeting and the rest in early December. This past year, we were dedicated to meeting the needs when and how the assistance was most helpful. We decided it was most helpful to temporarily suspend our non-payment disconnect policy for almost 3 months and waive the late fees in April and May. This gave members breathing room to adapt to unavoidable hard times. Natural disasters gave us opportunities to show our dedication to the community in 2020. Last April, a powerful tornado ripped through parts of rural Hampton County, leaving some of our members without homes and disrupting electric service to 6,500 members in southern Beaufort, Hampton, and Jasper counties. The tornado downed transmission and distribution lines, snapped 115 poles, and created problems at 3 substations. Palmetto Electric crews traveled immediately to those areas, working nonstop for 4 days to restore power to all of our members. Once again, our team took it a step further by delivering Palmetto Electric coolers and 100 pounds of donated ice to Hampton County Recreational Center so food and drinks could be handed out to victims and first responders. We were pleased to give $5,000 each to Hampton County Recreation Department and United Ministries of Hampton from Palmetto Electric and Operation Roundup to aid in relief efforts. Sister crews from Fairfield Electric Cooperative and Black River Electric Cooperative joined our crews to help restore power after the tornado. We paid the visit forward in the fall of 2020 when a crew from Palmetto Electric traveled to Louisiana to assist in recovery efforts after the state was struck by Hurricane Laura and Hurricane Delta. We continue to be dedicated to giving generously to help those in need in our community. Giving back is part of the Palmetto Electric way, and you, our members, have jumped in to participate wholeheartedly. Last year, the launch of the Give 5 initiative raised funds to help those in our area faced with growing rent, mortgage, utility, and food bills that resulted from job losses and hardships caused by COVID-19. Members, employees, Palmetto Electric, and Operation Roundup together donated over $116,000. These funds were distributed to Bluffton Self-Help, Beaufort Jasper Economic Opportunity Commission, Deep Well, and United Ministries of Hampton to help residents in need. Giving is always on our minds, but even more so during the holidays. No matter the challenges that 2020 brought, the holiday spirit was alive and well within the Palmetto Electric family. Women involved in rural electrification, known as WIRE, which is our community outreach group, hosted a holiday drop-off in December and collected 200 toys and canned goods and $1,891 to pass along to children and their families through Bluffton Self-Help. We continued community outreach to children with a new program called Shop with the Co-op. Since COVID restrictions forced the cancellation of the annual Touchstone Energy Bowl, we replaced it by purchasing Christmas gifts and necessities for 7 children in Beaufort, Jasper, and Hampton counties. The electric cooperatives of South Carolina gave us funds to sponsor 2 children for this shopping trip. Palmetto Electric, along with WIRE, sponsored an additional 5 children. Palmetto Electric employees also stepped up and collected 145 new blankets, which they delivered to local nursing centers in all 3 of the counties in our service area. We feel sure the generosity shown by our members and employees made the holidays a little bit happier for many people in our community. As we look back on 80 years of providing reliable energy and support to the communities we serve, we could not be more honored to call this corner of South Carolina our home. Our dedication to serving our members and community was never more needed than the trying times 2020 forced upon us. I am proud to say that together we worked through a year of adversity, still letting our generous spirit show. It is a pleasure to work and serve side by side with all of you. Thank you, and I would like to turn our meeting over to our President and CEO, Burl Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I too want to welcome again all our member owners, friends, and guests to Palmetto Electric's 2021 annual meeting. As you know, the year 2020 was very challenging for all of us due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Our thoughts and prayers go out to all our friends, neighbors, and loved ones that have been impacted with sickness or death by the virus. It has impacted every facet of our lives, and we are hopeful that we can get back to what will probably be a new normal later this year. We sincerely appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedules to share it with us. We value your time and appreciate you attending the meeting virtually. As President and CEO of Palmetto Electric, I want to sincerely thank the Board of Directors for giving me the opportunity to lead this organization. Palmetto Electric is a special organization, not only for the affordable and reliable electric service we provide, but its focus on making the communities that we serve a better place to live. It is because of the board's superior leadership and the team of dedicated employees that we have, which makes Palmetto such an outstanding organization. I am continuously reminded of the employees' commitment to provide great service with complimentary emails, voicemails, and thank you cards from our members. Their hard work and commitment to serve others during these unprecedented times has been commendable. We are 1/3 the way through 2021, and nearly 50% of our local community has received at least one of the COVID-19 vaccine shots. It appears that the beginning of the pandemic's end is in sight. We all are craving for some sense of normalcy, and I believe that it's possible later this year. But we must look back and ask ourselves, what have we learned? And how can we take what we have learned and use it to our benefit in the future? Obviously, we have learned a lot, but these are 4 things that stand out to me. Social distancing and wearing masks work in keeping us physically safe and healthy in a pandemic. This has proven to be very true, but unlike social media that connects people, social distancing disconnects people. This separation was evident by the emotional strain that we all experienced by not being able to see or visit our friends, co-workers, and especially our loved ones that were left isolated in the hospital or assisted living facilities. We learned that mental health is as important as physical health. We all certainly have learned what Zoom, WebEx, and GoToMeeting is. By using these and other video conferencing technologies, we have learned a new way to hold or attend a meeting. Working and going to school remotely is very possible, and in many cases is more effective. However, I believe that most of us perform our jobs more efficiently by going to work in person, and children learn better in the classroom. Also, we lose the human interaction that is so important in building relationships and a culture within an organization like Palmetto, which was formed to serve you. The digital divide is real. As discussed above, working or going to school remotely is effective for some, but if you do not have a robust broadband connection, this is not possible. I mentioned in last year's annual meeting speech that not having broadband in the rural areas is no longer acceptable. We must get broadband to our children that live in rural areas, or they will be left behind. Also, without good internet, the economic divide for all our neighbors will only widen between those that live in rural areas versus urban areas. Even though Palmetto was unsuccessful in receiving federal grants through the FCC's Rural Development Opportunity Fund, we are actively exploring ways to address this issue. And finally, the 4th thing that we have learned is people are kind, courageous, and resilient during times of adversity. Throughout the past year, there have been countless stories of courage, kindness, and resilience from people in our local communities and around the nation. Everyone has been stepping up to help their neighbors and do what they can to support each other. I may be biased, but I believe first responders, which includes line workers and many other employees at Palmetto Electric, have been incredibly brave, and they have spent this year working harder than ever. Despite all the unknowns and risks to self and the fact that little was known about this virus, they continued to show up to do their job. To all the first responders, thank you. You have shown a great deal of courage and self-sacrifice this year, and we are all grateful for you. As Chairman Vinay mentioned earlier, our 2020 annual report theme is dedication to our members and community during a year of adversity. He outlined the many ways that our members, employees, and community at large stepped up and put into action so many acts of kindness during a year filled with challenges. I was so proud to see our employees and community respond this way. This nation and our community have proven repeatedly that when a natural disaster, or in this case a pandemic, occurs, people genuinely care about each other. We learned that being kind to someone not only makes them feel good, but it also makes you feel good. We were all able to realize that kindness breeds kindness. When you hear about the generosity of others, it inspires us to do the same. Resilience is a trait that we all have. It is a learned skill that gives us the ability to cope with adversity. After the pandemic started, I called it Hurricane COVID-19. The only difference was for this storm, we could not pack up and leave. My point is, the pandemic is another form of a natural disaster. One thing for sure is since we live in a coastal community, we know how to plan, prepare, and recover from the destruction of a hurricane. I think the annual preparation and the lessons learned from the significant impacts physically and emotionally we all have experienced from hurricanes in recent years helped our community to recover much quicker than most other communities. Even during a year of so many challenges, unknowns, and uncertainties, the cooperative had many successes. I am once again pleased to report that Palmetto scored a 90 on the American Customer Satisfaction Index survey. This is 4 out of the past 5 years that Palmetto has scored a 90 or higher. The average Touchstone Energy Co-op received a score of 75. Palmetto Electric ranks in the 94th percentile of all co-ops that have received an ACSI score in the first and second quarter of 2020. Additionally, the financial condition of the cooperative continues to be very strong. The cooperative added approximately 1,400 meters in 2020, a 1.85% growth rate, and now serves more than 76,000 accounts in Beaufort, Hampton, Jasper, and Allendale counties. As a result of the continued good financial condition of the cooperative, the board was able to approve the return of capital credits early last year, soon after the COVID-19 pandemic began. This was a time when many of our members were in financial need due to businesses having to reduce their operations and furlough or lay off employees. The cooperative has been averaging giving back to you, our members, approximately $4 million per year for the past 7 years, totaling almost $28 million. This is another benefit of not only being a customer, but a member owner of your cooperative. In addition to the return of capital credits, your board authorized reducing power rates for the month of December, which saved our members $1.75 million. This, combined with our capital credit payback, totals more than $5 million we were able to keep in our members' pockets in 2020. We were able to do this in a year filled with financial uncertainty and maintain some of the lowest residential electric rates in South Carolina, which are a substantial 22% lower than our local investor-owned utility competitor, Dominion Energy. At last year's annual meeting, I informed you that Sandy Cooper had entered into a settlement agreement in July of 2020 with the plaintiffs of a lawsuit filed by customers against Santee Cooper for their role in the failure of the V.C. Summer nuclear plant. The $520 million settlement includes rebate checks that each customer of Santee Cooper and members of an electric cooperative received in late November or December of 2020. This is the first of 2 checks that you will receive. You also will be receiving a smaller check in the fall of 2022. The most encouraging provision of this settlement agreement is that rates charged by Santee Cooper to electric cooperatives will be frozen through 2024. Therefore, Palmetto can plan for stable wholesale power costs through 2024. The settlement agreement, along with significant governance reform changes that the South Carolina legislature is making at Santee Cooper, will ensure more oversight, transparency, and rate stability for Palmetto members which have not experienced a rate increase since a modest increase in January of 2014. By now, it is obvious to all of us that climate change is a global issue, and one of the major ways to address the carbon issue is by electrifying the economy. Electric utilities around the country are beginning to plan and prepare for the rapid movement away from fossil fuels for transportation to electricity, which has a much lower carbon footprint. Hopefully, one day, by using renewable resources and other non-carbon generation resources, the electric utility industry will have a zero carbon output. Palmetto is working closely with Central Electric Cooperative, our generation and transmission provider, and their power providers to start moving to lower or zero carbon generation resources as quickly as possible. But it must be done in a prudent manner that considers impacts to rates to our members and grid reliability. Now let me close by saying that early in my speech, I mentioned the pandemic has shed more light on the digital divide in this country, and more specifically in the rural areas of our service territory. Even though Palmetto's pursuit of federal funding last year was disappointing, I want to reiterate that Palmetto's board and management are committed to filling the gaps in this digital divide between rural and urban areas. This is an education, workforce, economic development, and quality of life issue that must be addressed. Leaning on our annual report's theme of dedication to our members and community during a year of adversity, I am pleased to announce that Palmetto Electric Cooperative and Palmetto Rural Telephone Cooperative, headquartered in Walterboro, South Carolina, are exploring a partnership to provide high-speed internet to our unserved and underserved members that live in rural areas of Allendale, Hampton, and Jasper counties. We are very excited about this potential partnership and look forward to the opportunity to play a role in expediting the installation of high-speed internet service to our members that so desperately need it over the next 2 to 3 years. I want to thank you again for participating in the business of your cooperative. I truly believe Palmetto Electric Cooperative is a special organization that is here to serve you. The board, management, and staff sincerely hope that you and your family stay healthy and safe as we make significant progress in getting our lives back to normal. We look forward to seeing you in person at next year's annual meeting. Now, to complete the 80th annual meeting of Palmetto Electric Cooperative, I have the pleasure to introduce Danny Henderson, cooperative attorney and partner with the firm of Peters, Murdoch, Parker, Elstroth, and Dietrich. Danny?
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It now becomes my responsibility to report to you the results of the election for your board of directors. Like many things in this challenging year of 2020, the election of directors has taken an unusual turn. Due to the resignation of Mr. Henry Dreesen, who served this cooperative for many, many years, and who was a dedicated servant of Hilton Head Island. The nominating committee placed in nomination to fill Mr. Dreesen's unexpired term the name of Mr. David L. White from Hilton Head. Each year, 4 members of your board are up for re-election. 2 members from Beaufort County, 1 member from Jasper, and 1 from Hampton. This year, the Beaufort County members who were up for re-election were Mr. William J. Nimmer and Mr. Dave Solero. From Hampton County, Mr. Nick Gohagen, and from Jasper County, your Secretary-Treasurer, Ms. Eunice Spilliards. As Mr. Davis sadly reported you earlier, Mr. David Solero passed away on the evening of Wednesday, April 28, 2021. Therefore, his seat became vacant at that time. This virtual annual meeting was scheduled to begin at 7 a.m. the next morning, and in fact did so. Time simply did not allow the changing or reorganizing of ballots, and as many of you saw when you voted, Mr. Solero's name was on the ballot. Due to the fact that Mr. Solero's seat by his death was vacant before the annual meeting actually began, no votes cast in that seat will be counted. Mr. Solero's seat will be filled according to the according to your bylaws. Therefore, I would like to report on the ballots that were cast today for directors. 4,934 ballots were actually voted. Mr. Nimmer, William J. Nimmer of Beaufort County, received 4,648 ballots. Mr. David White, the newly nominated director from Beaufort County, received 4,650 votes. Mr. Nick T. Gohagen of Hampton County received 4,590 votes, and Ms. Eunice Spilliards of Jasper County received 4,658 votes. I hereby declare those four members to be elected to the Board of Directors of Palmetto Electric. Mr. White will fill the unexpired term of Mr. Dreesen, and I'm not sure when it expires, but he will only serve for the unexpired term of Mr. Dreesen, at which time he will have to offer for re-election. That concludes my report on the election this year. Is there any other business to come before the 2021 annual meeting of Palmetto Electric? Hearing none, I will now entertain a motion that the business meeting of the 2021 annual meeting of Palmetto Electric be adjourned. Do I have a motion? I have a motion. Is there a second? There is a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of adjourning this 2021 annual meeting of Palmetto Electric do so by voting yes. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. I now declare the 2021 business meeting of Palmetto Electric adjourned. Good evening.
Thank you all again for joining us tonight. I'd like to wrap up tonight by announcing who has won the prizes as well as the grand prize at the end. A little housekeeping. We will notify everyone Monday or Tuesday who won the prizes about how best we can get those to you. And also, I will be notifying the winner of the vehicle tonight. We'll also be putting these out on social media. The winner of the $100 ACE gift card is Michael Wallach. The other $100 ACE gift card is Helen Stanley. One of the Walmart $100 gift cards is Jamie Sanders. A $100 Walmart gift card, Marianne Smith. A $100 Visa gift card, Eugene DuPont Jr. The Ego battery-powered leaf blower kit, Angela Dixon. The Yeti hard cooler, Eunice Crosby. The Weber Q1200 portable gas grill and cart, Mark Hicks. The Instapot Pro Crisp and air fryer, Barbara Henry. The TCL 55-inch 6 Series 4K UHD Smart TV, Angela Murdoch. The iRobot Bravo Robot Mop, Charles Brown. The Teton Angler Kayak with paddle, Greg Davis. Of course, everybody's name was then put back in, and the winner of the grand prize, which is the 2015 Ford Escape, is Mr. Harry Sharp from Bluffton, South Carolina. Again, congratulations to everyone who won in the prizes, and thank everyone for participating in your annual meeting.